Hi everybody, Joshua here with the Heavypiano YouTube channel. Let's talk about how to play Carseat Headrest, Drunk Drivers, Killer Wheels. So we're in the key of D. I'm basing this on the version, I got this as a request from a patron, so I'm basing this on the version that I found on YouTube that has the lyrics, and I believe it's the album version. There are a lot of different versions of this song, so take what I'm saying here and then maybe kind of apply it to the recording that you are listening to. But we're going to play it in the key of D, and our intro is over D, then we're going to lower that to have major 7, D major 7, E minor. And that's going to be most of the first couple verses here. So we have just kind of outlining the D major chord. And I didn't play any chords for the very first part, and then I would play a D chord. So I'm adding that D in there, it becomes like an E minor 7. Back to D. There's our D7. E minor. You know, there's that F sharp to E in the synth kind of sound. Okay, and then here it picks up a little bit, same chords though. Same chords again, D, D major 7 to E minor, E minor 7 if you want to think about it, or fall asleep on the floor. So then we come into our next chord progression here, G, D, A, F sharp minor, E minor, D, A. So it starts with the We Are Not a Proud Race on G, to D, it's not a race at all, A to F sharp minor, E minor, D, A, drivers. Same thing again. This is not a good thing. A. Then we're gonna go back to our verse chords: D, D major 7, E minor. D. And the empty feeling, let's see. Sorry about that. And then we share the same fate. This is going to build up from the D. I have become such a negative person. But if we learn I know I'm not stopping a lot, but it really is just D, D major 7 to E minor, between those more or less two chords, D and E minor. Then we come back to our We Are Not a Proud Race on G, to D, A, it's not a race at F, all F sharp minor, E minor, D, A, drunk drivers. Put it out of your mind, A, perish the thought, F sharp minor, E minor, and then we have our, it doesn't have to be like this. This will be G, D, A, E minor, G, D, A, E minor, right? So we're just gonna repeat that progression. However, the melody is on the F sharp, so we have kind of this G major 7. And it's funny because on the piano it sounds very pretty, right? Right. Almost like it's a very pretty kind of creamy sound, but on the recording it's it's like a rock band. Doesn't have to be like this. G, D, A. And I'm walking up the bass there. You don't have to do that. So I'll stop talking about the chords. G, D, A, E minor, G, D, A, and then it pulls way back with is that voice in your head? We have this progression again. G, D, A, F sharp minor, E minor, D, A. F sharp minor. Back to G again. Please listen to him. And then we have 4 drunk drivers on A. And I had a hard time picking out the pitch for the melody, so I like to think of it as like kind of start it. Just kind of building, because we repeat it 4 times and then it gets to the chorus again. We have our G, D, A, E minor progression. And then our outro is a little bit different. G, D, A, F sharp minor, E minor, D, A, and then E minor. So it's slightly different than that progression which we have kind of seen before. And the Killer Whales is on E. So it's kind of they are literally wailing like a killer whale. That's how someone mentioned in the YouTube comment, and I was like, oh yeah, right. So over the G, D, A, F sharp minor, E minor, D, A, same thing again, G, D, A, F sharp minor, E minor, D, and then you can build it up as you want. I don't mean to go from 0 to 100. I will talk more about some techniques you can use. And then I used like an E7, E minor 7. You can put that 9 in there, or if you think of it as a second, just kind of a crunch. And that's how I ended it, kind of following the progressions and the order in the original recording I listened to. Let's talk about how to make it interesting, so it's not just chords, melody, and kind of this flatline piano cover, and some philosophies about building the excitement within the song. So it starts really simply, right? I'm holding my pedal down. I'm letting it get all blurred together, right? Then I'll play a chord, just a gentle chord. So I'm using lots of cluster there, right? And also letting a little bit of a descending line happen there into my next chord, right? Then I'll have a more definitive chord, a D. So think about, I have my melody here, but my left hand is like a little bit of accompaniment or a little bit of a duet with the right hand. You know, I think one of the things I did on the acoustic, or maybe on the digital as well, but, you know, hitting some upper notes here, like you know, things like that. Experiment. You know, again, we're taking it, we're trying to arrange it in a way that has some feeling. And then I actually had a hard time coming up with some concepts and ideas for developing the energy here when it comes, because in the band, in the recording of the band, you know, you get a little bit more movement. So on the piano, to my ear, it becomes really pretty very easily, and maybe that isn't what you want, or maybe not what I wanted. I added, let's see here. Oh, that's another thing. Sometimes you have a descending bass line, D, and you can think of it like an F sharp minor over C sharp in that second inversion if you want. Or, you know, D major 7, just dropping the root a little bit before you go to the E. Something to think about. I know in the recording the bass is going down to that C sharp sometimes. So we have the it comes and goes, and trying to add a little bit more motion in my left hand is helpful, I find. Right? You know, what does it feel like when I go to a lower octave? What does it feel like when I repeat? Like add some crunch notes in there. You know, like adding a little bum 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 bum. Think about like some rhythms I want to add there. So I'm getting a little bit away from just a strict interpretation of the melody on the piano and more trying to give it a little bit of energy and movement. I know it's easier said than done, but I am thinking in the terms of these chords, like what does this sound like versus, you know, what kind of emotion is evoked from adding crunch or just playing the solid chord normally, you know. So think of ways to add rhythm into your playing to kind of develop the emotion that you want. And then we have the We Are Not a Proud Race, which in the recording pulls back a lot. So, you know, like a little bit of movement in the left hand, but not much. So chord hit the chord. Maybe add that fifth. You know, like it like jumps in as a little syncopation. Think about all the songs that use this technique, right? You've heard that. So what does that feel like? What if we do, you know, so creating a little bit of movement down, up, back to the C sharp. Right, so bum 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 like a paddle, or again, like think of ways to add rhythm in there so it's not just chord melody chord melody chord melody. So then we go back to the verse again. And I'm thinking about dropping back to the energy here. We're not a proud race, you know, kind of that recall. But I do know at the end of this section, I'm going to build up to it doesn't have to be like this killer whale section. We are not, put it out of your mind and perish the thought. There's no comfort in responsibility. So drunk drivers, maybe I'll hit an octave, right, to kind of build it. So chord, you know, octave down low is more emphatic than, right? So again, you know, like driving chords. You know, all these techniques to add energy. And again, to my ear, it becomes very pretty very easily on the piano. And so maybe the way I play it is not, you know, the feeling you want to evoke when you're playing this as well. But just here's how I play it. Here's some things to think about. Let's see, killer whales. Then it comes back. Is that voice in your head? So we had that section again, right? We're pulling it back again. You know, you hear me do this a lot in my arrangements. You know, we're just kind of like letting it fizzle a little bit, letting it hang, come back to the energy again. Okay, so then we have this build up to our last big killer whales, right? So then we want to, I wanted to keep the energy going into the outro. So let me do the last, doesn't have to be like this. I'm doing is and again changing some of the notes within the chords, right? Make a little bit of movement there. Build up on that E minor. Yeah, I know it's easier said than done, and maybe you don't even like what I'm doing to this song. But I really enjoyed learning this song. Hope somebody else finds this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'll try to get back to you. We can learn together. If I got something completely wrong, let me know. I'd like to thank patrons for suggesting songs like these and helping me broaden my horizons, learn new songs. This was a good one. I've had the doesn't have to be like this Killer Whales section in my head for like a while, and it gets stuck in my head, and I love it. So thank you very much for bringing this song as a request. And yeah, if you want to support the channel on Patreon, I always appreciate it. I don't have as much time as I'd like to do arrangements and covers for people and create these tutorials, but I really do enjoy making them. So thanks for your support, everyone, for hanging out. I will catch you next time.